To the Hamsi Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Pablo Navarro. Today is Tuesday, November 27, 2012. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline differential closed at negative 320. Nasdaq advanced decline differential closed at negative 232. We had 12 new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and 0 new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. For the volatility, 538,000 contracts traded on the VIX today, with 51 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in December, we saw 1.06, which is neutral with 52% of the total premiums paid. On January, a 0.27, which is bearish, with 35% of the total premiums paid. Here we have the daily chart for SPX. We have a down day, 7.35 handles, or 0.5% for the day. The important thing here, we are still holding 0 sigma as we talked about it yesterday. And if we do break to the downside from 0 sigma, we are looking at the 200-day moving average. We're going to look at in a second at our daily moving averages chart. We continue to be at 0 and positive 1 sigma channel, which is here we're consolidating at this area after having it move higher. If we look at our support, pivot, and resistance, here we have it. We closed at 1398, and we're looking for maybe going to test this weekly pivot around 1392. That's going to be important. If not, we look at that target on the upside around 1425. So we're going to see what happens here. Volume has not been great this week, so we're going to look until if we get further upside or downside confirmation. The important thing here, we have this downward trend line here. We draw it yesterday, and yesterday we hold, and today we're still above it, which is important. We want to continue and maybe try to bounce from here, but it looks like we're getting here some type of a bull flag after this huge bounce. So we want to start breaking higher and break this 1407, which is going to be important. That is the 100-day moving average. That's going to be critical to break if we want to go higher. Now let's look at SPY. Here we have our daily chart and pretty much the same pattern. Some consolidation after the big bounce we had. You can see here this was a huge bounce, and then we're trying to consolidate around this area. Maybe 2 more days consolidation period and try to break above 141. That's going to be the target here. Break and close above 141, but still holding the 139.50 level, which is the downward trend line. That's important to hold here. And if we go to our support, pivot, and resistance chart, here we have it, and we are at weekly pivot but holding, which is important. We want to try to go higher. 141 we talked about on the daily chart, and maybe 142.50 on this one. It's our next support resistance. Going to the Qs chart, here we have it. Important points today. Here we have this huge bounce, and we talked about coming to the 200-day moving average. Here we have it, 65.47. Acted as resistance today. We bounced lower, finishing down for the day after that resistance was not being able to be broke. 65.47. We need to break that for further upside. Need to break that further upside. If not, we're looking maybe to go and test the 63 level. So that's going to be critical. Break that or come out to this upward trend line we have here. 63 level, that's our target here. Maybe take a breather and go above that 200-day moving average. So the important thing here is to break this 200-day moving average on the Qs. If we go to our support, pivot, and resistance, we're basically in the middle of weekly pivot and resistance number 1. We want to break this 65.52. That would be also breaking the 200-day moving average, which is important. Now let's go to the Iwm chart. Here we have the Iwm chart. Today we failed at the 100-day moving average. We are having some type of support at the 200-day moving average. We're in between those two. Basically, we want to break to either side. Of course, it would be better if we break to the upside. 81.25, that's the level to break. That's important, and we also could move this trend line to the upside here and try to see We are above it. We have up some support. We want to break higher, close above 81.25 and target 82.34. That's going to be important. That's the 55-day moving average. So let's look for that on IWM. If we go for GLD, here we have the daily chart for GLD, and we have a couple of important trend lines here we could draw here. We have this one going higher, and we are also on a channel here, type of a, you can see here the channel's getting smaller. We are still on an uptrend here on GLD, maybe trying to come back even to test the bottom of this channel we just draw here, and try to get long maybe for 71-ish target. We did have one bearish thing today. We closed below the 55-day moving average, and now we're looking for another longer term target on this upward channel we had here, maybe targeting 67, 68-ish, and then going long until 71. We're gonna see what happens if we're able to hold this upward trend line we have here. For SLV, silver ETF, here we have it, and pretty much the same. We have this upward trend line. We are respecting it. We could even draw the same one here as a channel, and we were on the top of the channel above the 55-day moving average, and pretty bullish here. We're looking for some consolidation, maybe even pull back on the next couple of days, slowly pulling back until we get around this 32.40, 32.35 level, and from there try to break out and break this upward resistance we're facing here. That will be pretty bullish. We still have a 34 target on SLV. We will change that if we break this 55-day moving average and this down upward trend line. That would make us bearish, but from here we continue to be on a perfectly upward trend. So let's keep an eye on here on SLV. Last chart we're gonna look at today, we have the VIX. We were up today 2.71%, and we have an outside day reversal here. We have the VIX closing outside bar above yesterday's range, and we were below yesterday's range here. Important here, we talked about wanting to be below 15. The low was 15.01, pretty close to our target, but we weren't able to hold there. So this is starting to get more confusing here as the VIX starting to get higher. Maybe we did only have a dead cat bounce. Let's watch the supports we have on the S&Ps. Let's watch the VIX. If the VIXs want to go higher, we want it to go above 18. That's the 200-day moving average, and even try to go to 22. A big move to the upside. That's what I'm looking here on that VIX right now. We have a special offer by TradeStation. Get your HEMC Analytics proprietary indicators paid by TradeStation. Contact Active Traders office in Chicago, Peter Albino, at the number listed below. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.